Hi again, everyone. We're back for another story together, and this story is another informational text. So this story is going to teach us something, and we're continuing with this theme of eggs and creatures that lay eggs. We learned this fancy word. Does anyone remember? I won't say it first. I'll just hold up the card. Does anyone remember this fancy word that means creatures that lay eggs? Remember, this O looks kind of like an egg. Oviparous. Let's say it together. Oviparous. And oviparous means a creature that lays eggs. So today we're going to read this story, or this book. It's not a story. This is an informational text. It's going to teach us something. It's called What's in That Egg? What's in That Egg? This was written by an author named Becky Baines, and it's a book about life cycles. Life cycles. Does anyone know what a life cycle is? You might have learned about this before, maybe in pre-K if you studied like frogs or butterflies and their life cycles. A life cycle means how a creature starts from being in an egg or being born, and then as it grows, and it follows a life cycle. So something is born, and then it grows and lives a life, and it probably has its own babies, and then eventually it passes away. That's part of the life cycle. So let's see what this book is all about. What's in that egg? What's in that egg? A book about life cycles. Hey! Hey! What's in that egg? Hello? Hello? Mom? Is it a turtle? Turtles are reptiles. Reptile eggs can be hard, but sometimes they're soft and leathery. Some reptiles bury their eggs. Is it a frog? Frogs are amphibians. Amphibian eggs are like jelly. Some are laid in strings, others in bunches. They need to stay wet and are laid in ponds or streams or even leaves that hold water. Is it a fish? Fish lay lots of eggs at a time. Most let their eggs scatter in the water. Some freshwater fish make nests underwater in the sand. So this is an example of a turtle egg. Here's an example of frog eggs. And here are fish eggs. Is it a butterfly? A butterfly is an insect. Most insects are tiny. Insect eggs are teeny tiny and hidden. So here are butterfly eggs that are laid on a leaf. And here it says, is it a swan in that egg? A swan is a bird. Birds lay hard-shelled eggs in nests to keep them safe. One thing is for sure, though an egg seems so small, there is a whole world inside of it. It's a home after all. Some babies live in eggs for only a few days, and some live there for months. I wanted to look up this word to make sure that I pronounced it correctly. It says albumin. The albumin is what we call the white part of an egg, and it says albumin makes up most of the egg. It allows the growing baby to float and not get bumped around. The yolk is the food that the baby eats to make it big and strong. So this is pretty amazing. Here's what the baby starts out looking like. And then eventually you can see that it looks like it's growing into a little chick. So inside of an egg, when a chick is growing and almost ready to hatch, look at that. He or she's all cuddled up inside. It's getting bigger and stronger until suddenly, tap, 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 tap. Ready or not, the egg is going to hatch. Most baby animals tap open hard-shelled eggs. So the baby chick here starts tapping away with his beak and then starts to slowly come out of the egg until here she's out. Eggs can be pink or green or even blue. Some eggs can even be see-through. So here, this is an example of apple snail eggs. These are two different types of bird eggs. And then this is a frog egg. Eggs can be long and skinny, pointed or round. All different shapes of eggs can be found. Here are snake eggs, quail eggs, turtle eggs. And here we have a guillemot egg. Guillemot birds lay their eggs on narrow rock ledges. If the eggs were round, they might roll off the ledge. Their shape helps to keep them safe. Interesting. Bigger than a cantaloupe or too small to see. An ostrich eggs are the largest of all the eggs. They can get as big as 7.5 inches tall. And then hummingbirds lay the smallest bird eggs. They are only about 1/2 inch long. There may be just 1 or 2,000 or 3. So an emperor penguin might just lay 1 egg, and a clownfish could lay thousands of eggs at one time. A baby is born. Do you know what kind? The egg might tell what was growing inside. So these are some questions that you might ask if you're thinking about eggs. Is it hard? Is it soft and leathery? Was it buried underwater? Is it teeny tiny? Is it in a nest? Is it long and skinny? Hey, where did everybody go? Happy birthday, alligator! Surprise! What took you so long? Alligators are reptiles. They have soft and leathery eggs which they bury under leaves or in the sand. See you later, alligator. Wow, so if I go back to that first page, I think, what kind of egg is this then? An alligator, just like we found out at the end of the story. So we started off with this egg, and then we learned a lot of different information and facts about eggs and oviparous creatures. And finally, we saw that an alligator came out of that egg. All right, kindergarten, great listening ears today. When we're reading informational text, sometimes it's a lot of different information coming at one time. So what I think is a good idea is to, when I'm done reading, I try to think of one new thing that I learned. I know in this book I learned a lot of things, but let me think of one really interesting thing I learned was that some creatures like a penguin might only lay 1 egg at a time, and then other creatures like a fish can lay 1,000 eggs at a time. That's pretty impressive, and I did not know that until I read this informational text. Maybe you can think of one thing that you learned this week about oviparous animals or oviparous creatures. All right, see you soon.